Salam sehat sahabat dari Bali. Saya Tirka Widanti akan memandu acara Chit-Chat East meets West. Sebuah bincang santai dengan teman-teman dari mancanegara. Apa yang mereka cari di Bali? Apa yang mereka cari ke Bali? Baik dalam waktu yang panjang maupun dalam waktu yang singkat. Yuk, langsung kita sapa Bapak Sal Gordon. Halo.
Halo.
Apa kabar?
Iya, baik.
Kengken kabari.
Ya, becik-becik.
Becik-becik. Aduh, becik-becik.
Sibuk
ya, sibuk.
Tapi
senang. Ya. Pak Sal Gordon. Beliau adalah seorang educator. Beliau adalah seorang pendidik. Ya. How long have you been in Bali, Pak Sal?
Boleh bicara bahasa Inggris, Ibu?
Boleh, campur-campur. Bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia, bahasa Bali.
Ya. Sampun noyong gini di Bali supo Siu Tiban. Iya.
Siu Tiban.
9 years I've been in Bali.
9 years.
Nearly 9 years.
Kalau dase, kalau 10 itu dase.
Tidak boleh keluar. Yeah.
Tidak. No, I mean Siu is 1,000.
Oh, Siu.
Yeah, Siu is 1,000. So, no, 9 is Siu. Jadi karena beliaunya senang sekali belajar bahasa Bali, jadi sedikit ada pengucapan ya, pelafalan. Ya, Siu Tiban katanya. Jadi 9 tahun. You have been here in Bali for 9 years. So, tell me what you have been doing here in Bali.
Wow.
Kenapa 9 tahun? Ya?
Yeah. Well, I came as a middle school teacher. And I'm a science and maths teacher from Australia.
Science and maths teacher from Australia,
yeah. I was in a leadership position in Australia in schools, but I wanted to get back into the classroom and try education in a different way. In Australia, I was trying to be innovative, creative with my lessons, my learning activities, integrating sustainability into a national curriculum. But when I learnt about Green School Bali, for me it was a school I wanted my children to go to, because I have 3 children. And it was the children.
Tiga anak katanya. Iya.
And it was a school I saw important for me as an educator in my professional life, but also it's a school that I think and still believe is an important place for education for the future.
Education for the future.
Yeah.
Jadi Pak Sal Gordon, beliau adalah seorang pendidik dari benua Australia. Jadi di Australia beliaunya sudah menjadi pendidik, sudah menjadi pengajar, dan ke Bali beliaunya ingin sesuatu yang berbeda. Jadi pendidikan yang different, a different education. Nah, jadi
then I was head of middle school.
Before going to that part, I think in Australia, what did you do in Australia? For how long like that? So maybe tell us more about that.
Yeah.
Where part in Australia?
Yeah, I'm from the southern states. I went to school, a private school in Adelaide, which is in South Australia.
Adelaide, jadi private school itu sama dengan kurang lebih ya sekolah swasta lah di Indonesia.
And then university in Adelaide. And after university, I was going to go to medical school.
Medical school.
Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor in the developing world. And so I needed a.
So
you
know about medical things, ya?
Well, yeah.
Kalau saya pusing, bisa. Santai. Kalau saya pusing, tahu obatnya apa begitu ya?
Masuk angin. Ya.
Masuk angin. Jadi masuk angin begitu ya. Everything is about medical ya. Tapi kalau otak saya, bagaimana?
My life, I seemed to have direction then. I wanted to be a doctor. My parents had spent lots of money on my education, but I needed 1 year off. I didn't want to go from school to uni and then another 4 years of university. So I took a gap year. I went to India and I worked in the sustainable developing industry there within the environment and education sector for 1 year, and that 1 year changed my life.
1 year gap in India, jadi bekerja di India juga pernah ya, Pak Sal ini.
Yeah, and it's then my life changed significantly. I realised I wanted more time away from university. I wanted more life experiences, cultural experiences. I knew I was young and I wanted to travel and experience the world. So my 1 gap year turned into 10 years.
10 years. Oh, jadi ini sebetulnya beliaunya ke Bali itu sebenarnya untuk fulfill the gap year ya. Gap year. Gap year itu umumnya dilakukan 1 tahun, tapi ini sudah 9 tahun gap year-nya. Tapi it's fine, it's enjoyable ya.
I had a privilege and an opportunity.
When was that?
1996, I went to India.
No, I mean to Bali?
No, I didn't come to Bali.
9 tahun yang lalu?
Yeah, so that's 2013.
2013, ya.
But so much happened in between my university then and me thinking I was going to be a doctor, to me becoming an educator. I travelled around the world for 10 years really.
For 10 years.
Europe and Asia and around Australia. I sailed boats across oceans, I climbed mountains, I worked in big important jobs, and I also drove trucks and worked on farms and
driving trucks.
I had so much life experience. I learnt different languages and
including bahasa Indonesia, including bahasa Bali.
Yeah. And after that 10 years, I realised that I was a teacher. I'd been teaching people and learning, and so when I thought about what job I was going to do for the rest of my life, it was obvious I needed to get into education. So I became a teacher. I taught in Australia for 5 years before I came to Bali.
Jadi Pak Sal ini sebelum datang ke Bali sudah menjadi guru selama 5 tahun. Nah itu juga adalah salah satu persyaratan ya, kalau guru asing ingin mengajar di Indonesia. Jadi minimal pengalaman mengajarnya itu atau minimal pengalaman sebagai gurunya itu 5 tahun ya. Jadi ini untuk pengetahuan saja untuk teman-teman, untuk sobat Diari Bali. Nah, pada tahun 2013 on 2013 first time to Bali, or when maybe
I'd been to Bali 1 time before that, probably a year before that.
A year before. Your wedding is in Bali.
No, not my wedding. A family wedding.
A family wedding. Okay. Anyway, so how was that?
I instantly fell in love with Bali. I had a connection with Asia, and I think particular lifestyle traits in Asia around community and family, culture and religion really sat really nicely with me through all of my travels. So when I came to Bali, when I moved here, I had 3 small kids, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old baby. Tiga bulan bayi. And so it's not easy to move to another country with a small young family. But Bali was quite easy for me to do it. It's close to Australia. It has good medical systems. It has good infrastructure. It's the best of both worlds for me. But Bali has something really special in terms of the people and the family and the culture that I connect with every day. Just living here is like a dream come true. Living in Bali, so yeah, it's a very special place.
I feel good to hear that.
Well, it's true. I'm very honest about this.
Well, later on, you will tell us more about that. Is about the goodness. That is about the happiness living in Bali. Okay, and so you already answered my question, but stretching, what have you been doing here in Bali for 9 years?
For 9 years.
For 9 years.
Teaching. in the classroom, and then I was head of middle school, Kepala Sekolah
Kepala
SMP.
sekolah SMP ya. Pertama beliaunya menjadi guru, kemudian
Which was very exciting. We got to
Kepala
design
sekolah SMP.
a whole new style of learning program.
yes.
And then 3 years ago, just before COVID started, I became the principal at Kepala Sekolah.
Kepala sekolah untuk ya. Jadi
So 3 years as principal, Kepala Sekolah at Green School Bali has kept me quite busy.
busy ya.
Yeah,
Sibuk.
especially through COVID.
Jadi sangat-sangat ini ya, very challenging ya. We have been
Lots of challenges, lots of opportunities.
lots of opportunity. Yeah, so we always see that if there any challenge, there is always an opportunity on behind that one. Okay.
Always.
Yeah, always. Yeah, we believe that,
Yeah.
and then we have been through that
Yeah, as a community, as a country,
as a country,
yeah.
as a people.
As a people.
Yeah. So anyway, so I bet you have experienced a lot of things while you are in Bali, Pak Sal ya. Yeah. So that's why you speak Balinese.
Yeah.
You said that Madesal.
Yeah.
Madesal.
Yeah,
Madesal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madesal.
I mean, what does Bali mean to you?
Well, that's a big question. It means family. Family is important. I see that every day, the way just the normal Balinese lifestyle.
Yeah.
Culture and religion are important, and it's amazing. I see that again every day here, and it's not just a religion that you go to church on a Sunday. It's a religion that is your way of life.
Yeah.
With the daily offerings and ceremonies, and how we pay respect to the Hindu gods here and the people.
Trihita
the environment,
Karana
the
we call it.
Trihita
Yeah.
Karana,
Trihita Karana. You know Trihita
Yeah.
Karana. Yeah. Yeah.
Peaceful. I suppose Bali has a sense of peace because of the strength in the family and because of the strength in the culture.
So family number one.
Family number one.
Family number one.
And
Yeah.
culture probably number two.
Culture number two.
Yeah. And it's awesome, you see, the Balinese Hindu religion is such a beautiful religion that you allow me to take part in it, even though I'm not a Hindu. But I'm allowed to experience it and share it with me, which is really, really beautiful.
Do you feel that?
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't really get that. I never really got that living in the West, in Australia, in terms of how I was brought up.
So, like our topic is meets West, yeah? Okay, so we are in the West.
And it's across your community, and it's the young kids are dressed up and they're dancing, and the teenagers are strutting down the street on the way to the Pura, and the sarong and the white, and the families are on the motorbike.
Can you do that?
And,
Can you do?
Are
you a dancer?
I'm not a dancer. No, there won't be any dancing today.
Okay, so talking about culture, talking about the culture, I do need to have your opinion about Balinese culture specifically. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, well, I think a lot about culture because in my role, as principal, I believe that school should be a part of the cultures that we create rather than external. So for the last 12 months, I've been looking at the culture of Green School as an example and thinking about what makes up a culture. It's the language and the religion and the art and the music and the food, the way of life. I think even your natural environment helps define your culture. Like I've said already, the concept of the family and the community, the desa.
The desa in the village, yeah?
Yeah. Even to like the Banjar level of community is so strong. You think something like the Pachalang.
Pecalang.
Is such an amazing thing. It's like the people that look after the security of a village.
Yes. So you like it?
Yeah,
you enjoyed
I just think it's unique. It's very earthy. It's connected to the earth. The way the Balinese Hindu pay respect to the gods and to the people and to the environment with the Trihita Karana. It's amazing. Yeah. But life's, I don't know if this is time, but you know, we could be better still.
Sure.
I'm talking about we
We
not saying you
we
or
can talk
anyone.
about that.
We can always be better. And
Yes. And I heard about food. Okay. Do you love Balinese food?
Yeah, I'm
Mostly-
probably not really into
mostly-
babi guling.
So you don't like babi
No,
guling?
I don't really like
Not
babi
yet.
guling. But yeah, I love you know, any really good mee goreng and nasi goreng.
Mee goreng and nasi
Yeah.
goreng. So you like fried, fried
yeah,
food.
I've got it. Yeah.
Can you make
But I
nasi
like-
goreng? Can you
yeah,
make mee goreng?
Yeah, I can make that stuff.
Do you
but
cook
I'd
at home?
I do cook, but I probably cook more Western food at home.
So
And if I'm going to get
sobat dari Bali,
yeah,
beliaunya
I'll just go
juga
to the
masak.
warung.
Meskipun laki-laki, tapi beliau juga masak di Bali. Nah, yo bagaimana dengan teman-teman dari Bali?
No, I
ya?
love putting some music on and getting the kitchen all messy and creating some food. Yeah.
So you are very creative. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, okay. So now specific things about pandemic COVID-19. We have been facing this pandemic for 2 years. Okay, so according to your opinion, how Bali can improve from this pandemic COVID-19?
Yeah. Well, you know, before COVID, Bali was getting very, very busy.
Yeah.
And which is great because it's a beautiful island that we want to share with people from all over the world. But that obviously puts pressure and stress on infrastructures, road systems, waste management systems, water systems, power systems. And I think Bali's had an opportunity in the last 2 years through the pandemic to pause and reflect and think about how we as people living in Bali can keep Bali as a magical place.
As a magical
As a
place.
magical place.
Like,
you know, it'd be
like what?
Well, I think, honestly, I think if, you know, in 5 to 10 years' time, when the tourists come back and it keeps growing and growing and growing, without proper infrastructure to manage these things, eventually people may stop coming to Bali because
I see.
there is too much rubbish on the beach, or there is
Yeah,
too much
yeah.
traffic in the road,
Rubbish,
or there's
traffic,
not
yeah.
enough water. And so
Waste.
I think we need to think in a long-term sustainable way about
So
what is best for
the
Bali.
key word is long-term sustainability.
Yeah.
Long-term sustainability way, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean I would love to see a Bali that's known as a green island,
Green
an
island.
eco island.
Eco island.
So it's more than just the beautiful beaches and waves in Canggu and the temples and the waterfalls and the beautiful things of Bali, but it's a place that's able to live sustainably and welcome many, many people to share it.
Tell me more. Do you think that Bali can be back like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think the world is going to open up and is starting to open up.
What I mean in terms of sustainability, in terms of green Bali, and
Yeah, well, I would love to hang out with some important people in Bali and talk about ideas like can you imagine like an electric train system around Bali that went around and through the middle? It would take 50% of the cars off the road, I think, and it'd be a beautiful tourist attraction. Or,
Yeah.
can we think a big picture around about how we create and use energy? Because we know that the coal firing in plants, coal will run out. You know, how can we find our energy? There's a lot of sun here.
yes,
You know,
yes,
and
yes.
there's a lot of water here. How do we preserve that? What do we do with our waste? I know.
So
there's
you see
countries
that Bali is rich for that kind
Yeah.
of sources, yeah,
Yes,
resources,
definitely.
yeah.
What do we do with our waste? Bali could have some amazing recycling centres here that take all the rubbish from Indonesia and create something good out of it. I think there's an opportunity here because the Balinese people, there is a certain amount of independence in Bali too, I see. I think there is an opportunity for Bali to move forward. I hope it does move forward in a sustainable way because it is a special place.
Yeah. I think it is very interesting, isn't it? Well, what usually do when you have a free time during your free time in Bali, if you are not doing or teaching?
Yeah, I like to travel even around Bali.
In Bali, yeah.
So I have a nice old 1982 Vespa.
Okay, tell me more. How many places in Bali
PS Vespa that
you
I
have
ride
been
around
everywhere?
visiting? I like to try and get lost on my Vespa and then meet
so,
people.
So riding your Vespa, you have
ride
your
my Vespa
own.
around. Yeah, it's a beautiful yellow thing, and I try and get lost. And then once I'm lost, I have to meet some people and
Ask them, talking in Bahasa Bali.
And often that leads to sitting down and having lunch and a coffee and finding my way home with the Balinese people helping me.
So means that something like that is you still find in Bali.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you don't have to go very far out of Canggu or Ubud to get a real sense of Bali.
Bali.
Away from the cafe lattes and away from the fancy shops, there's still a lot of beautiful traditional Balinese people and way of life here.
Means that Bali can improve, can develop what I mean, yeah?
Well, it's funny, a lot of people come to Bali as a tourist and stay in Seminyak for 2 weeks and think they have experienced Bali, when really the real magic is out in the desa and around Bali. I love going to Chandidasa, is a favourite place of mine.
Oh, because you can surf, yeah?
Well, I don't surf very much, but the white sand beach there is really nice. The beautiful water palace and another couple of temples there. I really like doing that. What else do I do? I draw.
Draw.
I do big drawings and then put them online, and I'm probably starting a little art concept called Cave to Computer. I draw.
Actually, Pak Sal ini juga seorang artis ternyata ya. So, saya baru tahu ya. So you are an artist actually. So one day you need to make an exhibition.
Maybe,
yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah.
For now, it's just fun. It's
it's a hobby.
It's a hobby. It's very mindful. It takes a long time to do very fine detailed drawings, and and I just like spending time with people. So whether it's going out or people coming to my house, just socializing.
I will visit to your house, okay, to socialize, okay. Ayo kita sobat dari Bali nanti kita main ke rumahnya Pak Sal ya. Maksud saya main ke tempat tinggalnya Pak Sal selama beliau ada di Bali. Okay, so that you have been doing in Bali, you already share us about your 9 years activity while you have been in Bali. So tell me more. Will you be in Bali forever? Do you have intention to do that?
Yeah, I think long term, Bali or Indonesia will be the place that I will settle down or even retire.
Yeah.
As principal here, I have another 2-year plan, hopefully, at least.
At least, but can be 30 years, another 30 years.
I might want one more adventure before coming back to Bali later.
So
2 more years and I'll be 50, so still young.
Still young. Very young, very young.
So then I'd probably have another
only 1 year
10
difference
to
with me.
Well, you look much younger than me.
Thank you. Is that?
But I could live in Indonesia or Bali for the rest of
your life. Yeah, okay.
It's close to Australia for me too.
Well, it's only 2 hours or 2.5 or 3 hours fly.
And like I said, I love this place and the people. So it's hard when I go home to Australia. It's hard to even imagine that I could be living there when I live here. And my life is so different and so amazing here. And I go home and I think,
sweet.
You go home and you're on the treadmill, conveyor belt. Everyone's in their cars going to work, and I 9 to 5. No, I think Bali is definitely a place for me for the long term.
Well, you are also very busy in Bali. You have a lot of activities in Bali. Compared to when you were in Australia, you said that's very busy also, very busy too. How do you feel this one? Maybe because of the environment infrastructure, you feel in Bali more relaxed. But I don't think that no different with when you were in Australia. What you make this different?
Yeah, I think in Australia life is much more controlled. Where, you know, as soon as you get off the plane in Australia, it's, you know, do this and don't do that and don't park here and you know, kalau mau masuk di sana harus bayar ini, kalau mau lakukan ini harus bayar itu. Everything is regimented and controlled and systematized. And
systematized,
I think is the word. But in Bali, I see it's a little more random, a little more humanistic or organic. I think
organic,
life is more organic here.
Organic.
And I like the concept of having a little bit more freedom. You know.
Organik katanya ya, jadi organik, lebih freedom organik. Freedom organik saya rasa ya, nature seperti itu, secara natural. Jadi padahal sebetulnya kalau kita lihat kehidupan di Australia maupun di Bali, kehidupan Pak Sal di Australia maupun di Bali sama-sama saja sibuk. Tapi mengapa perasaannya dia di sini lebih relax barangkali ya, is feel more relaxed like that ya.
Yeah, in Australia you work and then, you know, maybe
but here too, Pa.
Yeah, but even going to work, like the example of me going to work in Australia, if it's driving the car for 1 hour in heavy traffic to go to work, here I sit on my motorbike for 10 minutes and ride through the rice fields and the villages and I get to work. You know, even riding to work here is quite relaxing. But going to work is a simple thing. In Australia is quite aggravating, infuriating. And you know, you do maybe make more money in Australia, but you spend a lot more money. You know? It's tax on this, and everything is so much more expensive. So I like to be able to go to the warung and have a good mee goreng and a coffee, and it costs me $1, and I get to hang out with real people. In Australia, you go to a warung and you spend $1 juta.
Don't you afraid with the whether that is hygienes or not if you go to warung like that?
No, not really.
Because you get
many years traveling around the world.
You get used to be here in Bali ya.
Yeah.
Sudah biasa dengan kehidupan warung di Bali seperti itu.
Ya, kadang-kadang lebih, you know, pedas, you know.
Lebih pedas ya. Hot. Ya, oke. Saya tadi dengar, I just heard about the gaji ya. So how do you see? So, of course, ya, your gaji in your income in Australia is more than your income in Bali. How you see this one?
Well, income is higher, but cost of living is also much higher.
Cost of living is also high, and also stressing like that.
Yeah, and just the stress to make ends meet, to make sure at the end of every month you have enough money. The stress is there. Yeah, I think my life, or maybe the savings, would be very similar, but my lifestyle here is much more relaxed and much more friendly.
It's about experience and also choice. Yeah. Well, it is very interesting. So actually, I want to ask you more and more questions, but our time constraints, our time is limited. So next time we can have another chit-chat with Pak Sal ya. Lagi ya, sangat-sangat menarik obrolan kita, tapi kita dibatasi oleh waktu. Jadi saya rasa sampai di sini dulu. This is
awesome.
Chapter 1.
Thanks very much for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure, and then also it's very honor and thank you for being here. Thank you for your time to come here and then to make this ones. And what I mean is that thank you for making your time today for us here, for me, for us here in Bali. Yeah.
Terima kasih banyak.
Yeah. So
Om Swastiastu.
we say Om Santi Santi
Om
Santi.
Santi, Santi,
Yeah.
Santi.
Terima kasih banyak. Thank you. Matur suksema.
Matur suksema.
Ya.
Mawali.
Mawalite.